All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to People in the Boxes, episode 124. It is December 19th, 2024, the last episode of the year. You might be catching the replay. If so, check out the show. Tell us what you think and leave a comment below, and we'll get back to you. We're going to play an intro, 4 minutes, about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We'll be right back. If you could help us out and hit those likes and shares, and maybe some tags out there, and go find us on Rumble and X. And we'll be right back. 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Cozy room where the lights are dim sits Waylon the farmer with a heart full of whim. He's not tilling fields or sowing seeds, but planting thoughts, fulfilling needs. People in the Boxes, that's the name of the show, where voices unite, let their stories flow. From all walks of life, they come to share their hopes, their dreams, their daily fare. With headphones on and mic in hand, Waylon invites listeners from across the land. He says, come on in, don't be shy. Let's talk about life, let's give it a try. People in the Boxes, dogmies unfold. In this podcast, hearts are bold, breaking down walls with every word. In Waylon's world, everyone's heard. Everyone's heard. From the city slicker to the country lass, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. He cultivates thoughts like crops and rows. His podcast a garden where wisdom grows. No matter the topic, big or small, Waylon's there connecting us all. So tune into People in the Boxes tonight, where every voice shines and every story's right. With Waylon the farmer, indoors we might be, but through this podcast we're all free. This song for Waylon, for bringing us together in a world where we all seek to connect forever. People in the Boxes, tune in, you'll find a community where every voice is intertwined. If you cultivate thoughts like crops and rows, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and every word. In Waylon's world, everyone's heard. From the city slicker to the country lass, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. From the city slicker to the country lass, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. He cultivates thoughts like crops and rows. His podcast a garden where wisdom grows. No matter the topic, big or small, Waylon's there connecting us all. So tune in to People in the Boxes tonight, where every voice shines and every story's right. With Waylon the farmer, indoors we might be, but through this podcast we're all free. This song for Waylon, for bringing us together in a world where we all seek to connect forever. With Waylon the Boxes, tune in, you'll find a community where every voice is intertwined.
All right. Hello, everybody. Bring it in, guys. It is Thursday night. People in the Boxes, episode 124. We do this episode once a month, the current events episode, kind of look at, find some stories to check out, there's a lot of major things happening. And we look at some minor things, what's happening in our lives, and look at, any sort of promotional things that we got going on. Now, this will be our last episode before the new year, and I'm also reminding everybody that we're taking next week off. So whoever is watching this later on will be, have to find something else to hang out on next Thursday. So let's go. So tonight we got Red Six, we got Kim Axtell with us as usual. But you guys, we're always looking for people that want to come up and share. You don't have to be here all night. You don't have to come back if you want to come up and just share on the topic. Now, tonight's topic is a little bit different because it's not necessarily a share your experience as much as it is look at, what all is happening out there in the world. Now, I did put the link out there in the comments, so if anybody wants to pop up, you're welcome. What's up, DJ? Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. And yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, because we won't see you for New Year's. Now, there's a post that I put out that's getting some attention about having a New Year's Eve party. A lot of said takers, and people were interested, but we'll see how that really pans out, so to speak. So let me know, guys. Hit me up in the DMs if you want more information about that and find out if it's really happening and whatnot. Well, hey, it is 7:10 on the Mountain Time, so let's have a little 7:10 moment. Red Six, what's up, man? How was your veteran giveaway?
Good. I need to get a little more tech savvy, I think.
Hey, you better get tech savvy, or it's gonna leave you behind. That's what I always say. Well, I never said that, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing a lot of stuff happening the last little while, last week or 2 weeks. We've had this crazy thing with the drones. Everybody was posting about it. People were really freaking out about that. We're going to look into it. I think it's been resolved, at least to some satisfaction. I've also heard about the story recently of a group of flat earthers who finally went to Antarctica, and now they are sort of backtracking and having to change what their theory is, if not completely agree that the Earth is round. So there's some of that going on. What's up, Dean? New layout. It's been there. It's been an option for a while. I just haven't really messed with it. But you should pop up if you got time, man. Come on, Dean. Anybody that wants to come up and share, you're welcome. What's that?
Just saying hi to people in the comments.
Gotcha. I thought you said I see him, not hi, Cindy.
Yeah.
I see that Bean Dingo. Yeah, shouts out to Bean. He's been having some back problems, wearing a back brace. I definitely know how he feels. I broke my back when I was in high school. It's not fun. I don't know exactly. It's not the exact same injury or surgery, but a similar thing. Anyway, I hope you're feeling all right, Bean. You're welcome up, of course. So I'm going to look into this. I'm going to pull up some articles. I like the Post Millennial. We can, you guys out there, and of course anyone on screen can always, you can suggest a website. We can pull any site up if you have something in mind. But I happen to like the Post Millennial. They're very, they seem very just even keel. Like they just try to tell you what happened, not necessarily put a lot of spin on it. Now, I don't believe there's any news source that's fully unbiased. It's kind of hard. It's impossible. But for my money, they do a lot of sort of just straight talk. Like, boom, this thing happened. Here you go. You decide what you think about it, kind of thing. So I'm gonna pull that up, but I'm gonna do the dab first. I missed the 7:10. I said happy 7:10 to you guys at least. So I got home just a little bit ago from my son's like Christmas, whatever they call it, program at my high school. It's always a surreal thing, man. Going back to high school, and it's all different. Like it's changed so much. Some similarities, but it's a lot different too. And I wore this hat. I had the lights on when we were sitting in the auditorium, but I shut them off before the kids started singing. But yeah, if you want to see some differences in kids, man, you go to one of those Christmas pageants for a school. You're going to see such a different like range. Well, that kid bobs around. That kid can't sit still. That kid like is really into it. You know, like there's just so many. My son was doing all this like choreography that the other kids weren't doing. Snowing down and Santa sleigh, and he was just doing all this stuff. He was right up front, and he had a bright red nose on and reindeer antlers at this event.
Well, that's the thing about public school is, it's not a lot of time you go to a private school, it's pretty homogeneous, and not in public school. Public schools take everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just get a very broad range of all kinds of kids.
I went to public school. All cheers to that. Let us know out in the comments. Did you go to public school or not? What's up? Cheers.
So I have like a mixed bag. After my parents divorced, they had a very, very bitter divorce, and I was 8 years old when they divorced, and it was hard on me. It was awful. And so for a couple of years, my parents put me in a Catholic boarding school, and we were not Catholic. So it was an interesting experience for me and for the nuns.
Come on, camera.
But by and large, I was in public school, except for those couple of years. But nuns are fucking mean.
Can't get it to work. Nuns in a school would be crazy. It'd be like drill sergeants in school, which I've been through. I cannot get my camera to zoom in on me. Come on, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. There we go. Merry Christmas.
Sister Rita, she hated me.
Sister Rita. Sister Mary Rita Clarence Thomas the third. Did she whack your like knuckles with a ruler or something?
She tried to, and she found out that I wasn't somebody to fuck with.
What's up, Elisa? Lisa might pop up. Just can't get anybody to pop up on this show. I'm trying to get my friends from X to participate more because they liked it. A lot of the audio spaces on X are basically the same thing except for without the video. I'm going to share it out. I'm going to share it to somebody here.
You're Catholic. Are you not, Waylon? Aren't you Catholic?
No.
Raised Catholic?
No.
Oh, I thought you were for some reason.
I'm my own kind of blick.
No, but I thought maybe you were raised Catholic.
Nope. Margaret on the X, I see you. I'm coming over here. I'm going to share it out to a couple of private chats. Let's see.
Hey, Brad. I'm
Here, somebody is at.
I'm okay.
Oh, wow. Look at this guy. I have a feeling Bean just wanted to see himself in a round circular window.
I wanted to be a bubble.
What's up, Brad? People in the bubbles. When you'll find. Oh, yes. No,
Are you a fart bubble?
Yeah, like we're we've started a new show. It's called People in the Circles. Portal. Beans had a pretty eventful week. I mean, like I said, we look at the crazy viral stories, but then Beans driven to from Florida to Pennsylvania and back. I mean, that's a hell of a trip.
Yeah. The way back, I only remember about 2 hours of it.
You remember 2 hours of driving? Yeah, oh yeah, I remember I passed that gas station. Like,
Oh shit! How did I get here?
Ginger, hello.
What were you doing in Pennsylvania?
Visiting family. I usually go up for Christmas, but I've been out of work because of my back, so I figured kill two birds with one stone and go visit while I'm out.
Yeah, that made sense, man. You will overlap your time there like that. So you've had time off of work then. So have you been paying attention to any of these crazy things happening? So there's been the drone thing, right? You're on the East Coast, so you might be closest to any of us on the screen at least.
I didn't hear about it until I got up to Pennsylvania.
New Jersey, I heard, was the big one that everybody was talking about. And then there's a few big stories like that. There's another one that Disney has now backtracked and said they are taking all trans material out of their upcoming scripts, I guess, or whatever. It's a simple thing, and I'm not saying good, bad. I happen to think it's probably the best, but I also think they found out it wasn't selling because they can't. You can't just.
Yeah. You go woke, you go broke.
Exactly. So imagine we have a teacher with us. So you know why kids probably start to not like school is because it drones on and it's very dry a lot of times. It's very, you're kind of forced into it. So when you start to watch content that seems like it's forcing you to learn a lesson, you feel like you're at school getting homework kind of thing. I'm just thinking that as we speak, but like I'm guessing that's what they ran into. Like whether it's trans or some other like movement that or whatever like message you're trying to convey, you can't push too hard on the message. You have to make a good story. Still, you have to actually go back to writing and write good stories and not just use all the buzzwords and
you can't just fit all of the propaganda in every movie.
Yeah, and I'm like, this doesn't have to be a thing about against trans things. It's just more about like what you can really push in your content to make, and people still will want it. I mean, even at a big level like Disney, where people will still buy the shit up, even though the numbers have gone way down for like things like their Disney Plus. I heard they changed recently too, where you can't have more than one person logged in on your Disney Plus account, and a lot of people were upset about that. A lot of people do that shit. They piggyback off of each other's accounts, and like Netflix used to let you do that, and they took it away. And so
all those things are doing that though. It's not just Netflix.
Well, I was just going to get to that actually. All the streaming services are slowly but surely taking back all of the everything that was innovated by doing the streaming services is starting to become pointless. It's a TV channel now. You have to pay for the TV channel, and if you pay for that, you get everything they do, and you can't share it. I guess I don't know. Like I don't know. I'll be honest. I've bootlegged things in the past, and I don't know which one's worse. Them or me. Like, is that bad? I used to, when I was overseas, we used to bootleg all kinds of stuff. We got the internet when we were in Iraq, and we would be like, guys would be finding all kinds of ways to download the new movie, this and that, and yeah,
the new movies, and it would be the guy sitting in the back of the theater filming the movie.
You're like the camera's just a teeny bit. You're like, can he just? I hate doing that. I don't watch movies like that for sure. Anyway,
that'd be pretty annoying.
I just watched a movie on YouTube. It was like 2 days ago, and whoever It was obvious screen grab because every now and then the volume kept going up and down, and you would see it on the screen like doo doo doo. Like,
Yep.
Mm.
There's a range that I'll watch. Like, okay, I watch anime for free online, but like there's a lot of ads on the screen, and there's things like ad blockers. Like there's always this back and forth. You're never like it's not like this changes anything about the fact that there's still going to be specifically trans content out there somewhere. If someone is trans and they want to find it, there's going to be stuff being made. It's just that Disney has decided to back off of it. So, go out there, be your own. If you're somebody who's mad about it, like go start making your own wonderful, trans characters and storylines and get it done. That's the American way, right? If that's how you feel. So it is interesting. We can read the story if we want to, but I don't know that there's really. I mean, there might be something more to it, but some other like headlines here. There's some political headlines. Let me look at culture. I like culture stuff better. Okay, yeah. So the Disney's Pixar. Okay, so it's Disney's Pixar. I thought those were separate companies now. Interesting. Okay, well, I stand corrected. It's not Disney itself. It's their company that they purchased, Pixar. I swear I thought those had like separated ways. Cuts trans storyline from upcoming series. Okay, so I was too broad about it. They're talking about one storyline from one upcoming series. It says parents would rather discuss issue on their own terms. Well, okay, but I mean, we've been saying that for a while. When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children. Okay, yeah, okay. Here you go. OnlyFans models use AI chatbots to talk to unwitting viewers. Now that's funny because I thought it was dudes doing the chatting to other dudes that are running the channel, making the money.
it's even
But
worse
now,
now.
they've even skipped that. They don't need their pimp. They don't need their OnlyFans pimp anymore. They've got their AI.
It's just a company with AI generated models and AI generated chat.
Subscribers might be talking to a bot. Yeah. Well, I've never been on OnlyFans. People joke about it, but you can go to theinnerfarmer.locals.com if you want to.
If you're dumb enough to throw your money at some girl for the same thing that you can just go over to any other porn site for, you deserve to get scammed.
I think the same thing, but I think what they're buying is like they think they're talking to a real person. There's something about that. I think that is
companionship.
More fulfilling, I guess, to that person. I don't know. And then here's one. Mary Morgan, Lily Phillips hates herself. Her OnlyFans stunt is a cry for help. She doesn't know. So every girl that's doing OnlyFans for a while, like they start to hate themselves. I can imagine. I could see it. It's not a time for balance. LA Times writer quits paper as owner seeks to bring balance to left-wing outlet. Wow. So there's a lot of news, like
8
stuff
years
happening.
old. You see that headline? 8 years old.
Trans model who began sex change at 8 years old wins Model of the Year in Fashion Industry Award. See, that's what I mean. Like it's just straight up. They're just telling me the straight up information.
But you got to remember, it's not happening.
Right. Well, Model of the Year. So sorry, ladies, no more. You don't get to be models anymore either. What's up, Brandon? What's up, Chris? Nobody. Come on in. What's up, Kayla? That like button, share us out. Guys, titty pics. Oh snap, Chris! I missed that. I missed the titty pics. Oh man. All right. Oh shoot! I need to go back to the Facebook so I can see the comments. I like to see the comments on my phone. It's this weird. It's such a difference where you can go to your phone and look at the same live stream, and you can see everyone that's popping in and out. It's crazy. Intense. Okay, so what else we got? Steam offers video game where players can reenact October 7th massacre in protest against
What the
Israel
fuck?
military occupation of the Palestinian land. This is intense, man. That's like that platform is a big platform, and for them to even care to allow this to happen, like they should have. If I was them, I would just be like, no politics, like no,
Yeah,
cut that out.
I thought they in the Oculus in the world they have a Titanic game where the objective is to get off the Titanic before it sinks, and then you just stand in the white lifeboat and watch it sink and watch all the people jumping off and shit like that. Like, I thought that was morbid. Like,
Yeah,
this is insane.
it's gonna get so good that you can like really fully, you'll be able to fully just relive some traumatic events. Like, porn star seeks male applicants to break world record for having sex with 1,000 men in one day.
Gross.
Yeah, that's nice.
Fuck
Can
is
you
wrong?
imagine? You're like,
He's
you're
already
like,
tried 100, right? Or did she do 100?
I don't know, but it sounds really difficult. Like could you imagine being like number 950, and you're like, how do I say this nicely? Like she's bleeding and like cut open, and you're like, you're like, I hate to do this to you. I'm sorry. Like I have to. This is part of my. I gotta do it. They already paid me. You know, like I needed a kidney transplant. Like I had to do it, and you just have to anyway. Like that sounds like the most horrific type situation
She
I've
had
ever.
a mental breakdown last time.
Yeah, this is crazy. I don't even get
Well, at least at 950, you got 50 guys behind you. You could look at and be like, "Sucks to be you, dude."
You're like, I'll be as gentle as possible.
Can
Wow,
you imagine having that much sex?
Oh my
I
god,
can't. I just
you're
all I
numb.
can think of is an engine driven
I
with no oil.
don't think numb. I don't think numb is what you'd be feeling.
Well, okay, let's be real. They would have some products on hand. They'd have
That's
entire
a lot of friction, dude.
the entire Diddy's load of baby oil just ready to go.
Maybe that's what they were setting up for. He was
Yeah,
producing it.
Yeah, but if she takes on 1,000 men in a day, that's a lot of friction.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna suffer because you're only gonna get one chance at it.
Ashley, what's up on the X?
You really got that long if you're gonna try 1,000.
Yeah, man. Like, what if you start to give up? She starts to give up at like 630. She's like, I can't do it. You know.
I mean, is that even possible to have that much sex?
I think I've heard of GBs that are that big before.
You just got like, oh my god, yeah. I'm getting a mental image now. Stop.
Yeah. Well, but look at this next one though. I remember this story from not quite a month ago. TikTokers complain being a content creator is mentally harder than working a regular job. What do we think about that? The people on screen, we got Lisa, we got Ashley in the comments. What do you ladies think about it? Kim doesn't look at herself as a content creator, but you're sort of you have a foot in both worlds. Like, what do you think about it versus your teaching job? And Bean has a regular job. Like, he's been broken from his regular job, either smushed, he's got his back broken from this thing. Like,
yeah, I thought roofing in the summer was hard, but clicking that record button, oh my god.
There's different kinds of labor. There's a lot of mental labor. Like with me, my job it can be physically demanding because you're on your feet all day, but it's more mentally demanding. So they've equated like teachers' jobs with that of a surgeon, or being more mentally intensive than even a surgeon, because you're making a lot of split-second decisions the entire day. So content creating, I think there's a lot of mental labor that goes with it, and I think that there's a lot of anxiety that goes with it, because you're constantly like worried about your numbers and how can I get my stuff out there and how can I increase my audience and stuff like that. So I think it is tiring, you know.
Riding the lightning, baby.
Yeah.
We're in here. We're deep in. We're literally diving into the muck that we all know that is called social media, and just bathing in it. And we're like, we can handle it. We can handle it. You know, it's like slowly sucking you down and then weighing you down. Although I will say it's a hell of a lot more fun, and I feel there. I would say a portion of the same feeling that an entrepreneur feels when they have their own business. I'd say a little bit of that feeling because you know how everyone says like versus a 9 to 5 job. If you build your own business, you're going to work 24/7, 8 days a week. But it's a labor of love, and so it's something where you enjoy doing it. Well, that's a similar feeling I think at least I have. Like Elisa May and I would like to make a few dollars here and there on the social media, and so that's like a micro, like a little bit of it. And I know people that make 40 grand a month on Facebook. I've interviewed them on Wednesday's show. Shouts out to Glassporn and what's the other one? Munchies, the Munchies. Both of those pages, they've reached millions of people a month, and it's possible to make that go. Okay, I think we're good now. Elisa May. So
it's actually way harder if you're trying to make money and gain engaging followers. It's hard.
It's harder mentally because otherwise, like if you go to your job every day, you can say, I don't give a fuck if anybody likes me. Shut up, Phil. I saw you fuck up that line back last Wednesday. Oh yeah, I smell that nasty rotten fish sandwich that your wife sent you every day to lunch. You can't be talking to me like that. I'll tell the manager. Like
I'll tell you one thing. It's definitely difficult to try to do both at the same time. To try to manage like a social media presence and hold a 9 to 5 job.
That's a level. That's a different thing. They don't even really go to here. And these are just TikTokers.
I feel like if I had that extra 8 to 9 hours a day, I would be able to put a lot more into my stuff and be a lot farther along than I am. But by the time I get off of a 9 to 5 job, it's like if I do go live, it's just to fucking hang out, shoot the shit. I'm not putting no thought into it.
Yeah, I've thought about this before. Like, I hate to. I don't mean this in a negative way to myself, but I could get a lot more done throughout the day if I didn't have such, like, I wouldn't say debilitating anxiety, but like I'll literally stand in my kitchen for like 2 hours where I'm like deciding what I'm about to do, and it's I don't know. I'm not trying to blame anything. It's just I feel like I could get more done. That gives me anxiety by itself. But I will tell you this: I do get a lot more done without the pressures of a full-time job on top of it. And so, yes, I agree that I would get way less done, which I lived for many, many years, my whole adult life. So yeah, when I'm working at a company, my brain will sit there and all of a sudden, boom, like light bulb go off, like multiple times a day of like how things could be fixed here and what they could do better at this place and how this could be faster and why is it we even have a guy doing that, and it's like why am I thinking this way? Stop. They don't like those ideas. They don't want the ideas, even if they're better. Like they want you to shut up and do your job. And it's like I was literally accused of running an underground coup at this hospital that I worked for because people liked me. People like new employees would come to me asking me questions all the time, and it's like I don't know. Like sometimes leadership is a feeling and not like just a status on paper. You know what I mean? Not to toot my own horn, but yeah, it was like a supply section of the hospital. I worked in the hospital proper. I worked in different places, but I ended up in this like warehouse filling orders for different hospitals, and I watched management that they hired and like put above everyone. There was just some of the stupidest people I've ever seen. This one guy's wrapping a pallet with a pallet with pallet wrap, like clear pallet wrap, wrapping all this stuff in the pallet. Well, he wraps up the pallet jack with it. Just keeps going, wrapping it over and over. I'm watching him. And the same guy, I watched him one time put a garbage bag into a garbage can, and he didn't do anything about the garbage bag on the outside of the rim of the can. And he let it go, and he watches it just like fall into the can, and he just walks away. What the heck, man? Just like common sense type of stuff. Anyway, we're getting back to more current events. So yeah, let's go back. Let's look at more. I'm not going to read that story. It sounds like a bunch of wham fest. Life of agony rock singer detransitions after living false life as a woman. Okay, interesting. There's a whole group of detrans people, transitioners. New book rebels, rogues, and outlaws captures Steve Bannon's war room in all its defiance. People keep making books, man, and I'm all for like a nice fiction book, like a story. Read a story, but these people in their books, like their tell-alls and things like that, it's behind the paywall. Ellen DeGeneres,
myself a Christmas gift. It's called Storyworth, and it gives you questions or whatever, and you write little stories in it. And then at the end of the year, it collabs them all together and makes the book.
Oh, wow. That reminds me a little bit of the book that's for moms and dads. It said, Mom, I want to know your story, or Dad, I want to know your story. Have you guys seen these coming out recently for holidays? I think that's such a good idea. I would love for my mom to fill it out. I'd like to get that for her.
That's kind of what I'm doing, writing a story for like my kids. And then they can go back and look like all the things, like our first vacation, what I had to say about it.
That's pretty cool. It sucks that you have to worry about the other side of this, like how that could be used against us. Like some company just like gathering all of this metadata on you, and not to scare you, but it's like we're all in it. We're all just, we all hit the accept cookies, accept the terms and what do you call it? Terms and agreement or whatever. Yeah. But we all kind of go through that with all these apps. I don't know where it's going to end. A lot of countries actually have rules where they get to keep their metadata. It'd be cool if you could sell it.
Everything's being recorded that you do for legal purposes, just in case. Even though somebody might delete it, there's still a hard copy with Facebook.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's changed. What if you could sell your own metadata? It would be like going to the blood bank and selling plasma.
I'm sure you could, but it's probably worth pennies if you sell it by yourself. The reason they're making money is because they're selling millions of people's metadata.
All right, touche. They've also got millions of peaches for me. Who we got here? We got Ellen and her wife moved to the UK. I saw the story a while back. This is kind of getting back a little farther in culture anyway. New kids show Iggy and Mr. Kirk brings biblical values to the small screen as U.S. culture veers right. That's Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron coming back out and doing stuff. And then it goes right into gay adult film performer targeted after supporting Trump criticizing gender transitioning for minors. Gay guy can't be gay now. It's not allowed. They're like, nope, you have to have pussy the rest of your life. You're like, no. Van Jones says Dems get beat because conservatives turn to alternative media. Yeah, they're calling Trump the podcast president now because the podcast that go on and she wouldn't. So there's gonna, regardless if you like him or whoever, right now, there's a turn here where you're going to see more politicians doing more podcasts, and there might be more politicians, especially as weed gets legal, or politicians who are on the side of legalization on podcasts smoking weed with the people.
And I say, as a podcast watcher, I watch a lot of podcasts. Fuck that shit. I don't want to see them on my
And
podcast.
I'd rather know part of who you are, what you got to think about, what.
You would talk to him, right, Lisa May? Give him the conversation. So Bean's like, nah, I don't want to be associated with some politician.
It's just I already see it filtering into the podcasts that I watch that are supposed to be comical and like all this stuff, and then you bring on Trump and you're sitting there all straight edged and stuff like.
Yeah, and now you're going to have money in it where we've already been talking about some of these legacy media companies putting money now into podcast hosts, boosting them up like crazy. We're going to take you. We're going to put 20 million behind you, and we're going to put your name on billboards across every city, and you're going to say this, this, and this, and they're going to like you got it, boss.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that some people have been putting out. Well, what's this one here? This will be the last one I read because it's getting back to the beginning of November. Late night hosts hold back tears after Trump wins. Okay. Holding back tears. Okay. We don't need to read that story. Okay. That's it. Is there anything else here? We could maybe go look up. There's probably some other story. Oh, we got to find the stories about the drones. Let's see. We'll find the drones.
Yeah, I was interested what that's about. A lot of people in the community say they've seen them.
Yeah, it's been it's not debunked, but evidently, NYPD confiscated drone belonging to renewable fuel company in Brooklyn Naval Yard. Serious drones across the country to be shot down. Yeah, it's funny. Trump didn't know anything about it, but he's wanting them to be shot down. And then they find out, supposedly, the report is there's been a 9-year-old plan for this to happen at this time, but everyone forgot about it to some effect. And let's see what the story says here as I get another little dab ready. Okay. New York Police Department officers recovers a huge drone that was left at the Brooklyn Naval Yard. This was on the 16th. According to the New York Post, the drone was about 5 feet in diameter, was raised in the air by a police officer. Wow, so it wasn't very heavy. An email alert notified the NYPD about the presence of the drone. This is not the same. Let me see if I can search New Jersey drones. Well, the NYPD, I mean, I guess it's not far away.
The last place they were spotted, I thought, was over New York.
Well, then maybe. Well, this seems like an unrelated story, but let me just get to the meat of it here.
And it was multiple. It wasn't just one.
Yeah, some of those drones are like really, really big. They're like the size of an automobile. Some of them are reporting.
Well, I thought, I know I've seen a lot of these new car manufacturers coming out with the prototypes for their flying vehicles, and they look like drones, and they're about the size of SUVs. So yeah. My thought was that they were testing out the vehicles, but I don't know what the actual answer was.
One of the things that they brought up in the media was, I want to say it was like a year ago. I want to say in 2023, they made it legal for people to fly drones or something. There was some kind of a legal change. And so that just put a lot more drones out there, more people having the ability to fly their drones and stuff. Yeah. And I know that places like Amazon, and I don't know who else, but are also using drones to deliver. And I'm sure that those drones that are delivering packages are probably pretty good sized.
Yeah, I think the FDA or whatever that is that controls the sky, did away with that in most areas.
Yeah.
Now look at what Miss Weiner has to tell us here. Rebecca Weiner of Weiner, let's say it one more time. Weiner, sorry, last time. NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Counterterrorism and Intelligence told reporters that the current heightened concerns about drones being sighted in New York and New Jersey, okay, this gets to the meat of it here, could be the result of people just thinking there are more drones in the air than usual. What we've seen over the past few days here in the city has actually been quite normal. Frankly, in terms of the actual drone activity that we see every day, she said, declaring that there are about 2,000 drones in the air above New York City during any given week. You have a really strong uptick in reporting, but not a strong uptick in actual drone detection, which makes sense. All people are seeing in the news is drone sightings everywhere. Okay, so more people are looking up, is all they're trying to say. Interesting.
One thing I heard too is that that there was somebody that was over in Russia that came back and told the U.S. government that they put their hands on a nuke that was headed our way, and pretty much that the drones that we're seeing are like scanning for nuclear activity.
I've heard that story too. I've actually heard that it was stolen nuclear material, and the drones were looking for that. There's different theories that what they're trying to say, the cover up here is that I don't know if it's covering up anything good or bad or not covering up anything at all, but they're just saying that it was already normal. And I actually heard a different story. The story I heard live on another podcast was that they had these plans to do this test over New Jersey years ago, and people didn't realize that it was going to happen. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security have spun a similar line of talking points, releasing a statement on Friday about reports of drone sightings in New Jersey that claimed that they have no evidence that the drones pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. Okay, and that's it. Drone sightings.
I don't know, but there's a lot of people that are really complaining because they're loud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can see that because they are some of the, the ones that I've been around are loud. And I can only imagine that if there are a number of them, that it probably, I don't know if there's a lot of people flying their drones at the same time in the same area, that it probably is disruptive to people's peace.
Imagine them start crashing into each other and then, landing on the street.
Well, not just that, but it's like, what are people using those drones for? Like, I'm sure that most of those drones are probably being used for innocuous purposes. Just people like my son has a drone, and I don't know that he flies it at night. I don't think he flies it in like residential or anything like that. But my son's a photographer, and so he does do drone footage of aerial things here in our community. But I mean, I'm sure that there are people that have drones that are fucking doing peeping Tom shit too. Or
especially in places like New York City with them like high-rise apartments and stuff, like they hop around from window to window.
Paparazzi drone.
What are you doing?
Well, look at this. Does anyone remember the story from October? Pentagon says it can't stop mysterious drones from surveilling U.S. military sites. I remember this because there were this uptick of reports from pilots and other military officers that were saying that they had sights of an object that cannot be explained, that can move, really fast. This pill-like object. Like there was multiple that were being released. And it's funny because they released this stuff when they wanted to distract us from some other thing that's happening, but then we remember this stuff and we come back and it's like, oh yeah, these things add up. All of a sudden it went from, we don't know what it is and we can't stop it, to, oh, we don't see anything wrong with it. It's like, what do we believe? Dozens of drones, as well as mysterious flying objects, have been spying on some of the most sensitive military bases in the United States of America. Now the Pentagon is admitting that it can do very little to stop this surveillance from happening. It's crazy.
Well, they were talking, I know sometime this week, because I watch the Today Show every morning. It's just a custom that I've had for a long time. But somebody was talking about regulating. I think they were talking about regulating the airspace or something, tracking.
Regulators. Sorry.
Well, tracking them, because I don't think that there's a system for tracking them or something. I'm not quite
Well, they
sure.
show up on. Well, depends on the size, I guess. They may not show up on a radar because they're making drones that are really really small, like very
You would think
small.
we would have our own drones though, with Homeland Security that ain't letting them fly over it like that.
Let's check out marijuanamoment.net. I bet you there's some interesting things there. Yeah, one of the other stories I remember was this shooting. There's been a shooting, and I know some of us have probably already been caught up on it. I don't remember where it even was, so I'd like to read a little bit about that. Actually, yeah, let's
You talking about the school shooting?
try to see if we can search it on.
Wisconsin.
That's what I wanted to say, Wisconsin, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
That girl.
How do you spell Wisconsin? It's W-Y, right?
WIS. Yeah.
That's not right either. Oh, it's because it's not capitalized, maybe. This was today. Madison school shooting victims identified as 14-year-old girl substitute teacher and a substitute teacher.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because they arrested a guy in California today in connection with that shooting. And, I've been really busy the last couple of days, but I just happened to see the headline on it on the news sometime today.
I
And,
thought they said bullying was involved.
huh?
I thought they said bullying was involved.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I kind of like perused an article a little while ago about it. And this guy in California, he's 20, and they were saying something in there in the article that he had plans to do some kind of a mass shooting or some crazy thing there in California. But the two of them, the girl and this guy, had been chatting with each other.
Police told reporters that only one was used to carry out the gun. There were two weapons.
Yeah.
Rupnow had a history of needing counseling and therapy amid her parents going. Oh, as a female going through, or she was a trans individual, if I'm not mistaken, going through divorce 3 times, and in an alleged manifesto wrote, "Humanity is fifth, and I don't like her. It's filth." Excuse me, my throat is really dry. Humanity is filth, and I don't like filth, nor want to live in it, nor should anyone else. And I know it follows me, and now it has followed me, and will follow everyone, because how the world is run.
Yeah, I had heard something about there being transgender connected to the whole thing, but
Yeah, when I watched them going through her parents' house last night and questioning them how she got the guns, they said that bullying was involved. And if she's transgender, I'm sure she was bullied a lot and went crazy.
She said her parent added that her parents were scum in the alleged manifesto. She had a Tumblr account in which Rupnow had posts about the Columbine shooter, as well as birthday posts featuring pistols and caption, "Happy birthday to me." Interesting. There's 2 other in critical condition after the shooting with life-threatening injuries. One other teacher as well as 3 other students suffered non-life-threatening injuries. 2 of them have been released from medical care. Advertisement. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's get out of the
Sad story.
Yeah, it's definitely another unfortunate incident where we don't spend enough time on mental health and what the internet is doing to our kids. I mean, because now they don't get to shut off the bullying. It's in their phone with them all the time. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I went to school, I would come home and man, it was like the light switch is flipped. I'm in a different place. It's a different world. I'm at home. I'm flipping on the video games or whatever. You know, like none of that was even around anymore. None of the people.
100%.
You know, and now it's like they're all right in your phone.
Yeah, when I was in school, none of my friends that I know today were from school. It was all neighborhood friends. Like, I couldn't wait to get out of that place. Like, people suck, especially when you put a bunch of little assholes in a building together.
Right. This company wants to pay you to smoke marijuana and write amazing reviews. Well, maybe they need the indoor farmer reviews. What's up? Speaking of, let's play a little tunes. I haven't played the Fire in the Hole song for quite some time. Now that we've got the rare occurrence of our crippled friend. How's your back doing, man? Like, so that brace is pretty. It's a serious brace. So
it's probably doing more damage than good. The doctor says.
Oh wow.
I went back in yesterday, and it's still like the fractures haven't healed yet. So I'll be out for at least another 6 weeks.
Fractures on your vertebrae.
Yeah.
I had that happen when I was young, so I think we talked about it a little bit. But yeah, I feel you. I had to wear a turtle shell for 6 months.
That's what I'm gonna end up. I gotta go get one tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a little more comfortable, I think, than the skeletal structure that you got now, whatever that.
Yeah, it just like presses in odd spots. Like it's got a chest plate, so it's always pushing my chest back, and my ribs hurt then. And
yeah, that sounds uncomfortable for sure. But Fire in the Hole to the Fire in the Hole song. Cheers, everybody.
Comments flood from across the world. Bean Dango's contagious soul, shouting fire in the hole. Screams light up in the dark.
Bean, I have a alternate option for our new gaming channel. Bean was nice enough to go and get a bunch of people to follow already. There's another option on the helmet. Facebook and YouTube.
what do you mean, Facebook and YouTube?
The two things that you can directly go live into from the MetaQuest.
Yeah, but not Facebook pages, you said, right?
Exactly. So we could open a YouTube channel. Gaming does.
I was thinking that we could just use Facebook, like the Facebook thing for clips. Make it like just pull clips from the different things.
Touche. And if you're going to do a video where it's going to have like a theme, like we're trying to do this thing today, we're trying to make this thing happen, we're trying to beat this certain boss, whatever, certain level, you can cut that piece out and be like, say how to make it a how-to video, how to do whatever. There you go.
Yeah.
Good call. Anyway, so that's something that happened recently. It's a little gaming action. I play a little bit of I game every now and then. It's exercise. It lets my mind wander a little bit away from whatever it is I'm worried about or thinking about right now. It's a good distraction. I like it. I've been playing some Population 1, Dean. There's some crazy new. It's a new like winter way to play or whatever, with a winter map or something. Debbie, what's up? Jess, hello, ladies. Hit that hashtag WTIF in the comments if you're in here. We dipped down for a while, but then we're back up to 10 on the Facebook. We've got 50 people in the house total. I don't know who's on the kick. What's up, Kicksters? Let's play a little bit of rock. Let's pump it up a little bit. Bean's other song here, which is pretty good, is a very energized song. More up Kim's alley. Kim's more down for the, she wants that death metal. What about you, Lisa May? Are you more of like a death metal or more of like a R&B? You're muted. I think you're busy working.
Hip hop and R&B.
Nice. See, Joe, I think I'm getting that a lot, actually. I have a lot of problems with my stuff working on Facebook. Go find me on Rumble or X. Check it out, guys. Bros, thank you. Yeah, there's something happening where I can't even get in and out of it very easily. Hit the like button and hit that follows and whatever. Yeah, I also got to figure out some more technical issues. So having a week off is going to be nice. Outside again, guys. Next week is an interesting week for me. We get a lot of stuff done here at the house.
I feel like First Fire and the whole song was better. I love the beat to it.
You like the first song better?
Yeah, his original song. But I do like
I see.
too.
Yeah, the one where it's like fire, fire, fire. In the hole. It always reminds me of the Rugrats? Ducky, go down the hole. Go down the hole. Flushing everything down the hole. Harold and Sandy in the house. What's up, guys? But you know what? You're not going to be alone here on New Year's Eve. There's a whole bunch of people that said they want to come to the party. I'm trying to get Red 6 to come up. I've got some couch room. I've got 2 couches and a spare bed. I've got plenty of extra space for people to crash.
What do you think about the controversy with the government spending bill?
I like that they're trying to push back against it. Now people are going to say, oh, Elon Musk is getting in there and they're all doing this. But, these bills with all this pork in there, and why is there so much feedback? Did you guys hear the feedback?
No.
Okay. So 2 things, Kim. I hope that we can clean it up a bit. They are trying to literally pass things in this bill that keep Congress from being able to be, what's the term, investigated for albeit a temporary amount of time, but it's enough time that it allows them to, sweep everything under the rug as such. But they're basically being told from the new administration that they want them to better keep all their records, have everything ready to go, because we're going to want all of it. And which I don't see a problem with that transparency, right? But then you have this sort of stuff happening on the back end where they're shoving all these little bills inside this big omnibus bill, which is just totally ridiculous. Like I can't think of the other examples. The one was that Congress can't be investigated, which is like, why do you got to throw that in there? Oh yeah, and you can't investigate me for criminal activity. There was a few other things that was like really intense. But the other thing I wanted to talk about with that was that now that AI is getting so good, for all of its negative connotations and possibilities, there is some things that are pretty damn awesome about it. For one thing, you can put a 5,000-page bill into an AI engine and have it pull out and literally have it attached to specific political offices. Like you say, would say so and so's office, you really like his like opinions and things. You can tell AI to say pick out anything that this person would have a problem with, and the AI could read all of the information out there on that public person. I'm not saying we should back a certain person or anything. I'm just giving an example here how it could be used, where you can literally have it pull out certain things that you're not going to like, and like things that you want to find if it's in the bill, and then it'll tell you where it's at. I mean, I'm butchering a little bit of this. I'm a little excited about it, but I like that because they would do things that even people who could read the bill wouldn't have time to read the bill. They would do things like, oh, you got to pass it at midnight, otherwise you can't. You got to pass it to know what's in it. Things like that, like someone literally saying that, Hillary Clinton, you got to pass the bill to know what's in it. Like, huh? Like, and so now they can feed it into an AI, and within minutes or seconds, you can find things out about it. So that's kind of a cool side piece of information with this one. But yes, I do not like all the things being shoved into this, which always happens. We always know it happens. But now they're threatening to primary anyone. Now, like it or don't like it, this is what's happening. The incoming administration is threatening to primary any Republicans at the very least who back this bill. And so a lot of people are at the threat of monetary loss, are changing their tunes, or at least not pushing the envelope. So it's a battle going on already. Trump's not even in yet, and there's so many battles happening, and it's not gonna stop. So like whichever side, but the sort of gridlock is going to be intense for a while. Anyway, hope that answers your question. One other thing that we didn't talk about is in correlation to the school shooter that we just talked about, we have the shooter of the CEO of the was it health insurance company? Am I wrong about somebody? I'll have to look it up. Health insurance company, one of these big frauds that are similar to like how big a fraud the taxes is. Honestly, a theft. Taxes are just, there's nothing constitutional about taxes. There's people out there who are very extreme about that. I think localized communities should raise money to do things like build this or that, build projects. But it became too big, too federal, I think, in my opinion. But with this situation with insurance, we're all forced to have insurance, and it's all forced to be attached to your job. Now, there are options. Have you guys heard of things like co-ops, an insurance co-op? Here, I'm going to put us back up on the screen. Insurance co-ops where you could get together with other individuals and pay for insurance, together. Well, paying for insurance doesn't necessarily mean that they will accept a surgery or whatever. And I believe in that situation, the person had been turned down for pre-existing conditions or something to that effect.
I think they were trying to get a gender transition, and they couldn't. It wouldn't cover them.
Was that okay? I need to look this up and maybe find out.
I hear things through the grapevine. I don't watch the news. Like, this is what people told me, so definitely look it up.
Shooting of a CEO.
I thought he was more mad. He thought everybody working in America should have insurance and.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is the story here. It says most wanted CEO cards created by socialist clothing company in reaction to United Healthcare CEO murder. Holy cow! They've created cards for like most wanted CEOs.
Yeah, you see all the different CEOs took their names off, like their LinkedIn pages down, took their pictures off their business websites and stuff like that.
Rose says she has United Healthcare. AI needs to be regulated before it gets into. Yeah, regulation is just going to mean that criminals are the ones that'll be doing things with it that the rest of us otherwise would do. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens, to say the least, because AI is kind of taking over a lot of sectors. Anyway, back to this story. Luigi Mangione. That's supposedly the shooter. People have identified him as carrying weapons. He's a person of interest, more or less. He's not, or maybe a suspect, I guess, but they don't. I don't. As far as I know, they don't know that he did it or not.
There is very strong evidence. They've linked his DNA to DNA from something in his backpack, like a wrapper and something. And the gun that he used, the bullet casings, is linked to that gun as well. So they have very strong evidence.
Said
They're
they hit him with or right here it says hit with federal charges and killing.
Yes.
Yeah. So
They
yeah.
are charging him in federal court. One of the things that they're charging him with is terrorism.
One count of interstate stalking resulting in death, and one count of stalking through use of interstate facilities resulting in death, and one count of discharging a firearm that was equipped with a silencer and a furtherance of a crime of violence. Interesting.
So you would call his intent political, right?
I don't know.
I think I would, but they might be trying to avoid doing that.
Well, I'm just saying that's why he would be labeled as a terrorist.
No, they're labeling him as a terrorist for different reasons. It doesn't have to have anything to do with politics.
This is what it says at least from the Post Millennial. It says he's been charged with one count of using a firearm to commit murder, one count of interstate stalking, and the rest that I read. But that's a lot of different weird charges. The first charge has been a maximum sentence of death penalty of life in prison or life in prison. The following two charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. The last charge has a maximum sentence of life in prison and a mandatory minimum of 30 years for a press release from the Department of Justice. The DOJ stated that Mangione had meticulously planned the execution of Brian Thompson over the last several months in an effort to initiate a public discussion about the healthcare industry. Really, I mean, we are talking about it. I mean, I'll give him that, I guess, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us talk about it a lot, such as Smashley, myself, like any of us that have podcasts where we talk about growing food and you're growing your own medicine are also going to talk about the healthcare industry a lot of times. Be growing on X. What's up? Come on in. If you want the link, let me know. I will go put the link in the X chat. But you're welcome to come up on screen if you want to share anything. Yeah, so I don't know that we need to read the whole story, but it is pretty crazy that they don't. Biden came out after the school shooting and said, blah, blah, gun control. He did not say that after this shooting. And a lot of leftists are cheering for it and wanting more of it, including the guest I had on last night. And no offense, shouts out to Smith. Like, I let him have his opinion, let him have his speech. But I personally think there are better ways to promote a change in healthcare when we empower the individual to grow healthier food, get away from the chemicals, push ourselves to grow our own medicine and process our own medicine. Like, there are steps to it. There's levels. Like, first you grow something, say, oh, look, it grew. And then you go, well, now what do I do with it? And you find out ways to process stuff into things like medicine. And I hate to keep using Smashley as an example, but, like I have this tincture right here that I put under my tongue. And when I do that, I find that I don't have to blow my nose as often. I'm like, my allergies are being subsided a little bit, United Healthcare has the largest Medicare program available, okay? And yeah, that's what I heard too. They accept more people with pre-existing conditions than a lot of other companies even. And this person was just, really up in arms about it. Starting life is Yeah.
Well, one of the things that they're going to mount a defense for him with is for insanity. So I was listening to some of that, listening to them talk about some of that, and they were, I don't know, people were just weighing in. It doesn't really mean anything until it actually gets into court. But they were saying, they were talking about that he's at an age where people that have schizophrenia, where that develops, and that's very true. So I don't know. They're going to be really, really looking hard at his mental health. And if nothing else, they may be able to mount a mental health defense for him based on his chronic pain.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has, it's bad.
I don't know why, but I'm
It does
proud
twist
to tell you a story of this pastor that I know who has I'm not sure if it's a pacemaker or a pump in his heart, and that thing is loud, and it's inside of him, and it's just always there. It's always there, and so he literally will sit in a room with big speakers on both sides of the chair, and just be listening to his music, like he's inside of his Camaro when he's in high school or whatever, blaring the tunes. Like he's just, I'll be honest, I don't know if he's still around. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was being driven nuts by the device inside of him.
Well, and it's just like, what is it? What is that? Tinnitus?
Yeah, I have that. I have tinnitus, and there's times where it's just like this tone and like all the background noise is gone all of a sudden, and everybody's is a little bit different. I don't get a lot of beeps or anything. I actually have pretty good hearing, but I definitely have tinnitus too.
Yeah.
I saw this video. This girl had it was like a old pump, like a replacement pump and a valve in her heart. And it was like made of metal. So like every time her heart pumped, she heard it like the metal tick, 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 tick. And she said it was like that for years. And then eventually they came up with this technology to fix it and get that piece out. And she said after they took the piece out, like she couldn't stand it. She had to go buy like something to replace the sound. She's like,
wow.
She said she missed the sound so much that.
Yeah, she learned to.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's opposite.
With it. So
yeah,
I
it was like that since she was a kid, and it was like the longest standing. It was like she broke a world record for the longest replacement heart valve or something like that.
I looked up the terrorism thing because I was curious about that. I was like, why are they charging him with terrorism? Like, that's not a terrorist act. So
yeah, I don't see why they did that.
New York, and this comes from Time Magazine, so I feel like it's pretty credible, but it says New York prosecutors are using 9/11 era anti-terrorism law in their case against the man charged with gunning down United Healthcare CEO outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel.
Okay, so they're not charging with terrorism, but they are using the loopholes in that law that was created on 9/11.
It says Luigi Mangione was indicted on charges of murder as an act of terrorism under a state law that allows for stiffer sentences when a killing is aimed at terrifying citizens or influencing government.
It's weird. We have conflicting charges.
Well, yeah. Well, they're so here's the deal. When you have a high profile case, so this is my legal background. When you have a case, period, you throw the kitchen sink in there, hoping that a charge, at least one charge, is going to stick so that you can, get at this person that's committed a crime. So, yeah, they are going to come at him with every fucking thing that they can think to charge him with that's going to stick. So, but I thought that was curious. Like, I was like, how are they charging him with terrorism? That's not really a terrorist act. I'm like, is there something in his manifesto?
Domestic terrorism, right?
Huh?
Well, would it be domestic? Well, okay, touche. I think you have something here because the health industry is not a political body.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Yeah, but if they're trying to make change in the government, like
Societal
it's a
change.
political act. Yeah, it's an act with
True.
political undertones.
I don't know. I'm very, very curious to see how this plays out and how they argue this. It could very well be that a charge like this doesn't make it before the court. You know, you have a lot of motions and things that get filed long before the case ever
Yeah,
sit into
Play
court.
out at like 80
I think
years.
you're right. They throw the kitchen sink at it. They throw a bunch of charges at it. A couple of them stick. That's the ones they take to court.
Yeah, and this is such a high profile case, you know,
Oh yeah,
that
be careful.
there's a lot of politics involved with like the district attorney and stuff because, you know, they have to be on top of their game and charging people and proving that they're doing their job and all of this stuff. So, you know, the law abiding citizens that are looking for some kind of resolution
Sorry,
of
Rose.
this guy's murder are going to be holding the district attorney and all the legal officials that are connected to this case accountable for carrying out their duties.
Smashley, come up.
But I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. You know, it's just like I remember when O.J. Simpson, you know, all that stuff went down with him, and I used to hang out with lawyers while I was in college, you know, and we'd sit there and we'd argue about O.J. Simpson, and you know, ultimately, it's like,
Yeah, that was a big one. People still want people to argue about.
oh yeah,
The theory I like is that the son actually killed his mom, and OJ took the.
the fall for it.
Oh yeah, the glove don't fit. Quit.
You know, I believe that OJ killed her, but it's like I said from the beginning, man. I sat there and I argued with these friends of mine that were lawyers. Like we were sitting there having drinks and just arguing. And I told them, I said, the race card is gonna fuck this up. I said, you watch, because LA, they have such a terrible reputation for racial kinds of issues. And I said, they're never ever gonna get him based on race, the whole racial thing.
Yeah, was he Italian or something?
Italian.
Who
Huh?
we're talking about Mangione, right? Who we
Oh,
talking
Mangione, yeah, he's Italian.
Who we
I
talking
thought you meant OJ.
about?
I thought, no, he
He
had
was in
Italian
LA
shoes.
too. I
You were
forgot.
talking
Must have
about-
been really Italian.
They caught Mangione in LA, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
At a McDonald's or something.
Or they caught him in New York, maybe. I guess I thought they caught him in LA.
Who?
He fled. Mangione fled, and they.
Oh, they
him.
caught him in Pennsylvania. He fled to
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Well, so yeah, so
In
OJ
Altoona.
was driving the white Bronco down the 105 or whatever in LA, and yeah, he just like couldn't decide when to pull over. It was like that's all I remember as a kid. Like this guy, pull over, just pull over. Like, you're not gonna be able to just drive forever. You can't. I want gas. The cops stay away. Just bring me gas cans. Bring Keanu Reeves and tell him to bring me the gas. OJ, man.
It really is a medical crisis in America, though.
Yeah.
People don't have insurance, and
Do you think this helps or hurts it, Elisa May?
might help it.
How
Draw
would it
attention.
help it? Let me hear a good argument on why.
Just to draw attention to the situation.
No, I think
Okay.
there's attention to the situation, but you know, Waylon and I were talking before the show started kind of about this, and you know, I kind of said the same thing, and you brought up the whole French Revolution thing, which is true.
You start
Violence,
cutting off all the
there's
heads of the
one
top people.
There's
Yeah.
one thing in this, and I say this when it comes to issues with race, specifically with Black people. You know,
Here she goes.
You go back to Martin Luther King, and he was against violence, right? And a lot of people really respected him for that. But it wasn't until Malcolm X came along, and Malcolm X was a supporter of violence, that, you know, people were just not really listening. The right people to end some of the heinous stuff that was going on with egregious civil rights violations were never, you know, I don't know that it would have ever really ended had it stayed a peaceful protest. I think to a certain degree, and I hate to say this because I'm a nonviolent person, but sometimes violence gets you places quicker and more effectively than what being peaceful does. Because
So
people, you
I
know,
agree with you.
contented in that peacefulness, and then they go, oh, okay, well, you know, everybody's going to be kumbaya, and you know, there are people out there that are not kumbaya, and
Yeah,
they
but
never,
not if your message isn't
not if what,
not if your message isn't like given out correctly. If everybody's standing around wondering why did he do this, then the violence was almost for nothing. Like,
Yeah, that's true too. But let me agree with you a little bit. I don't think that it's I don't really look at the violence as, oh, this can really get something done. I look at it as an inevitability, either inside a system or from outside of a system. No matter what system that you can talk about, every government, every civilization, you end up having wars, and wars do what? They're the etch a sketch being shaken back to level zero, and that's when laws can be taken out and new ones put in. You know, because we have like these books of laws that don't really get they don't ever get what do you call it, followed through with, or enforced. And it's like it's a joke. Like there's whole websites about these funny laws that are on the books, and it's like there's just never any incentive.
well, and
for
some of them you can't even enforce. Like Georgia used to have this law. I remember when I was getting my pre-law degree, Georgia has, and I don't know if it's still there or not, I can't remember, but they had a law about, it was an anti-sodomy law. And it wasn't the state of Georgia, I think it was a county in Georgia. And these two gay men in the privacy of their own home were caught in the act of sodomy by the police, if I remember correctly, and then they were charged with it. And it was just such a ridiculous law. It ended up being overturned because it's like, how often are you fucking going to be able to be present in a person's bedroom during sodomy, you know, to prove it? It's just a violation of privacy and stuff. So, but, you know, so you do have these laws that are just ridiculously unenforceable too.
Just like that really good law where you can go and you take your wife to the courthouse lawn on Tuesday. I think it's a Tuesday, maybe it's a Sunday, and that's where you can beat her, you know, senseless on the courthouse lawn. That's
Touch me, you draw back a stub, buddy.
That's a law. Like, hey,
I know.
They had to stop enforcing it because the line got too long.
Yes, remember this? That's the joke right there. That's such a good one.
But you know, to go back to that point of violence, like look at the violence that happened, all of those Black Lives Matter or whatever the hell. I don't know who was behind a lot of that stuff. I think it was a lot more complicated than what people want to say.
Government actors,
all the fucking riots related to Black Lives Matter, all these Black people that were being killed, you know, by law enforcement.
Yeah, there were a bunch of interviews of Black people in their neighborhood saying, "Why are you all here? Why are you here? Like quit!" And then the person's like, "We're here to help you," as they're destroying the person's shop right there. Like,
yeah,
it's just it's some kind of like weird twisted mind
Well, you just had a lot of
you know?
anarchist kinds of organizations out there that had their own agenda that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter or with whatever the true cause of things was, the true protests. And it just went over into, and I don't know if that was that way with every single one of those riots, but a lot of them, there was just a lot of anarchistic stuff. Because I remember here in my state, in Albuquerque is a very large city here, and they were finding around town, and they were showing on social media around town these different pallets that somebody had just landed these pallets in the streets around where these protests were going to be had, pallets full of bricks and things, and
Right?
it had nothing to do with the origins of what was going on. But the thing about all of that is that we don't have those riots anymore, but we do have a lot of changes. Our governments, our state and local governments had to start making changes on the way that things were being done, because the toll was being taken against our law enforcement, against our legal institutions. It was delegitimizing all of our police force and stuff like that.
Yeah, and look
And
at
it
this.
forced that change.
They've taken over the riots, so to speak. Anyway, it's called controlled opposition.
What do you mean?
And look at this. Look at this story right here. Breaking news. This was from 12/12. 26 FBI sources, or informants, you might call them, were on the ground at January 6th. Enter the Capitol building. IG report. The Attorney General. Or wait, that's IG, right?
No, IG is Inspector General.
Inspector General. Got it. None of these individuals were prosecuted. FBI rates. Oh, no, that's a different story. Okay, let's read the story.
Yeah, I've heard stuff about that, but I don't really know anything about, like, I don't know how truthful this 26 FBI sources, and I don't know, were they there as FBI, or were they there for some other affiliation? I mean, what was their purpose for being there?
Says
You know? Because there were a lot of people that were in that riot that had, political jobs, law enforcement jobs, or a lot of people that were supporters of that, their own personal, but doesn't necessarily mean that they were there for.
old shit. You mean from 5 days ago, Justin? Okay. It's from 12/12, my guy. It's a new report that just came out. So thanks, good one. You almost got me. Come back and try again. Ray Epps was one that got everyone.
But what are confidential human sources? What is that?
That means that they can legally say they are not employees of the FBI, because that's what they said initially. We had no employees in the crowd, and now they're finding out that they had people that maybe we don't say they're employees, but they're connected to in some way. But
So does that mean they're like informants, or?
Well, let me read it here. Let me read it. Report out on Thursday from Inspector General Michael Horowitz shows that there were 26 FBI confidential human sources in the crowd, 3 of whom were asked to be there by the FBI. Okay, so only 3 were asked to be there, they say. One of those went into the Capitol building on January 6, 2021. 3 of the additional confidential human sources who were on hand also entered the Capitol. None of these individuals. That's, I guess, the big news about it. It's like, oh, why aren't you going to prosecute your own people that weren't supposed to be there, supposedly?
Well, they were asked to be there, but what purpose were they asked to be there for, and who asked them to be there? Because, we know that there was a person that was fired for FEMA that was, I don't know, whatever, told not to help Trump supporters, kind of a thing, or something.
All
So,
right.
we know that there are people that work within these federal agencies that will use their authority to act unilaterally.
Yeah, and they will instigate crowds. We know this from past events. We know this from the Gretchen Whitmer scheme in Minnesota. To find out it was like 10 out of 12 of the members of this like group of people were actually working for the FBI to like create this scheme. That's great. That's old shit, Justin, for sure. But anyway, this is a new report that came out. It says, what was I here? DC U.S. Attorney's Office General has not charged those individuals whose only crime on January 6th was to enter the restricted grounds surrounding the Capitol, said U.S. U.S. Attorney Matthew Brace, which was resulted in the office declining to charge hundreds of individuals, and we have treated the CHSs consistent with this approach. Okay, so they found it so that they can maybe not charge a bunch of people, I guess. I don't know. The report shows that the FBI had a small role in the response to January 6th, and that this was because the Department of Homeland Security had not deemed it to be a high security level event. What? Horowitz said that the FBI was prepared for what's being called their supporting role. Oh, really? What? Their supporting role?
Yeah, see, when I see headlines like I see there, I'm very picky.
This is the story. This isn't the
Like,
headline.
what exactly is the meat of what they're getting at here? Because they'll use headlines to kind of swoop you in, and a lot of people don't read past the headlines.
That's why we're reading it.
It's like, I don't understand what the role of these people was supposed to be. What are they getting at? What's the wrongdoing?
It says the FBI took significant and appropriate steps in advance of January 6th to prepare for its supporting role, despite. Guys, could everybody mute for a second? Because I'm still hearing a lot of me testing. Yeah, I was hearing like my own voice popping back at me. The FBI took significant approach to appropriate steps in advance of January 6th to prepare for its supporting role. I just read that in the last paragraph. Despite playing only a supporting role in preparing for and responding to the events January 6th, the FBI recognized that the potential for violence and took significant and appropriate steps to prepare for this supporting role. What the hell? These are quotes coming from the FBI. So that's why.
Yeah, but supporting role for what? Who were they supporting? Were they there as law enforcement to
their jargon? They're sticking to it, sticking to the term.
Supported this. They saw potential for violence, so they were there to support the local police department, probably.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. So I'm like, I don't understand what the problem is with that. Why would they be charged?
So they had undercover people that were not agents, not employees, in the crowd for a supporting role for when the violence, when the inevitable, like, they're literally, right. They might as well just say they had people in the crowd to instigate the violence to make it get worse. You're telling me that doesn't sound like, and I mean, it goes on. Horowitz report says that there were 26 confidential human sources in the crowd on January 6, 2021, and that of these, the FBI had only asked 3 to attend. We just read all this in order to report on specific known concerns relating to domestic terrorism. The report states that that of the 3 requested to be there by the FBI, 2 of them entered the area around the Capitol, which was restricted, while another entered the Capitol building itself. 3 who the FBI asked to be there had been asked by FBI field offices. Okay, here we go. To report on the specific domestic terrorism case subjects who were possibly attending the event of January 6th. One of these 3 CHSs entered the Capitol during the riot.
So they were there to spy on somebody that was supposed to be there.
That's their excuse.
They were
It
there
seems
to be
pretty
spies.
flimsy. Yeah, and they followed everybody in, and so anyway, I don't know that I think they should be charged or shouldn't be charged, but it seems fishy to me. I'll give it at least that much.
So it seems like the problem is that what they're doing is they're picking at the bones of this. So why are these people, because they weren't given permission to be in the Capitol building, why are they not being charged where other people were?
Exactly.
But they're, I think, is
I
what
don't
the
know that they
text
should
is.
be. They are there in a civilian capacity though, so there is that. I don't know that means that would be the thing I would stand on. You know, like that wouldn't be my be all end all of things to stand on for sure. But it is a fishy thing to point out for sure. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. It says the additional 23 confidential human sources who were on hand, the report states, were there on their own. Of those, 3 entered the Capitol while another 11 went into the restricted area around the building. So you're telling me they were not employees, but confidential human sources for the FBI, and they just decided to go there. Things are just
Yeah,
really
it sounds sketchy.
like
If the FBI wanted people there, they should have sent agents there, right? They not.
Well, not necessarily. I mean,
that show.
law enforcement uses confidential people all the time, informants and stuff like that. But I don't know. It just something doesn't sound right that they would. I don't know. Like, why would they send so many people, or why would so many people just arbitrarily show up?
They shouldn't be able to break the law, though. At that point, your people need to
Yeah.
be in place.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty thin alibi they're trying to use, but FBI did not canvass field offices for intelligence from CHS prior to January 6th, which could have helped FBI and law enforcement with their January 6th preparations if what they're saying is true. The FBI could have taken the additional step to canvass its field office in advance. This is like repeating itself. Okay, I am done with this. Anyway, but yeah, it was a thing that came out recently that the FBI had some people there. Period. Like whatever you call them, you can call them a confidential toilet scrubber, and that doesn't mean anything. If you're connected to the FBI, you're probably doing some shit for the FBI. Some wet work, probably, right? Red 6 got the gloves, the leather gloves. They don't fit. I quit. You're muted, bro. So it's Thursday night, and what's everybody doing this weekend? Red 6 doing anything?
No, not this weekend.
Nothing, huh? I'm gonna have my son, so maybe we'll try to find Santa somewhere. Maybe we'll go check out the Festival of Lights. Elisa May, have you checked out the Festival of Lights?
I've been there before, not with Dylan. I don't know what he would think of it.
So
But I need to finish Christmas shopping. I gotta get something for my little
wrapping, lots of wrapping and stuff. So can everybody, if you haven't seen, condolences to Kim losing a fur baby. We're all here for you, Kim, but obviously it's going to take some time, and I'm glad you still have some other fur babies, and you're moved into the house and stuff, and anyway, I'm my heart's with you. I just had this happen not all that terribly long ago, so maybe we can get you a new Velcro kitty one day. I'm thinking about getting a cat. I haven't had one in years. My last cat died. 17 years. That's pretty good for a cat, you know. So I like little buggers. They definitely imprint on you. Like my cat was very feral. It was a black cat. Black cat, very like it would like be it would be like hunting all the time, even inside the house, like acting like it's, you know, like come on.
Like that. I got
You
an
know,
all black cat, and I swear if he ever gets out, there's going to be bodies everywhere. He's just going to go tear through the neighborhood.
when I was even younger, I had another black cat that was a female, and that cat was smaller, and it literally could take on multiple neighbor dogs that were bigger than her because she had all her claws. And I let her. She was kind of an outside cat for the most part, but still loved to come in and get those cuddles, you know. Get a hot beverage and go check out the lights and the drones. Jess, the drones, they say nothing to see here on the drones. We'll see how that goes. I remember wailing your pup passed. Yeah, I actually just shared a memory, and Facebook cuts off the bottom part of this picture until you click on it. And I made a funny, like, yeah, she's a good girl. I said something about my husky. And then later I noticed that the rest of the picture showed my pup, my Dookie boy. And I was like, oh, I gotta edit this, add something in about him, you know. But yeah, they stay with you. I think they stay with me. I keep them in a box in my fridge, so they really stay with me.
How do you keep them in the fridge?
Not in the fridge; they're on the top of the fridge.
Oh, okay.
They're chilling.
Yeah, I
They're
don't.
down on me.
I took Mina to the crematorium today, and it'll be a couple of weeks before I get her back, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put her. I'll probably put her in the kitchen because she was like, I called her, she had a lot of nicknames because she just was like that. But one of the things that I called her was the rabbi. For those of you that aren't familiar with rabbis, like they oversee the preparation of food and all kinds of stuff, and they bless it. They make sure that it's made according to Jewish custom and law, and that it's kosher. And I couldn't do anything in that kitchen without Mina overseeing what I was doing. And if I wasn't doing it right or whatever, she would let me know. She talked. So I'll probably put her in the kitchen with,
Yep, they always love to follow you into the kitchen. That's why mine are in the kitchen.
yeah. I mean, because the other places that she hung out were like on me, like literally. That's why I called her the Velcro kitty, because she, I would be sitting in a chair like this one, and she would be up here, and she would drape herself over me, or if I was sitting on the couch, she would do the same thing, or she would sit where she could have her face as close to my face and headbutt me and all that stuff that cats do. So.
They say your chances of living with parasites are more likely if you have cats and dogs.
Yeah, I don't care.
Living with parasites?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're at a higher risk.
But I tell you what, we are also being too clean about things nowadays too. You know, there's a whole other sort of side to it.
I don't use antibacterial stuff anymore. I rarely ever use bleach or anything like that. In fact, I've gone to using like to clean my floors. I use vinegar and water and stuff like that because it's just the shit. These chemicals are so bad. And
That's why I buy Melaleuca, plant-based products, from cleaning your floors, brushing your teeth, washing your hair, washing your body. Let's see what else. Everything. To clean my bathtub, everything I use is plant-based.
Joe Orsley, you're number 30, brother. Number 30.
So there's less toxins in the home that way too.
Less what?
Toxins.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had to get away from having any kind of chemicals that I breathe in my house because I have lung damage from when I was in the military, and so I have asthma and just breathing problems. And like I can't have perfumes. I don't candles, the perfume from candles. I can't have candles, none of that stuff.
What's up, man?
It's not really extra money either. It's just instead of going to the store to buy my stuff, my grocery list is online at a plant-based store every month.
Yeah.
So I never go to the store for any of them.
Tedible. Let's play a little Tedibles with my friend Ted. Well, and we're about to do the spin.
And how we eat and things like that. You know, I remember when I was a little kid, my mom, you didn't have a whole bunch of boxed food crap. Like I remember my mom made cakes from scratch, pies from scratch.
Yeah, now you got
Whipped
instant.
cream, like, you know, the stuff that you put on your like pie, like Cool Whip. That was developed in the 70s, I want to say. Oleo or margarine was, you know, I don't know. It was I don't think that our food system was set out to try to poison us. I think people started moving to the convenience of prepared foods, and the demand for that became greater than our demand for healthy food, for real food. And now, you know, we're paying the prices for that. So
The mass producing and the preservatives is what did that.
yeah. But I think one of the big problems with our healthcare system, you know, I have a lot of people in my family that are surgeons and medical doctors and stuff. And I have personal friends that are as well that are doctors. And one of the things that is strangling our medical system and making the price of everything so high is malpractice insurance. The insurance and business taxes and stuff that doctors have to pay to do business in any given state are what drive a lot of the prices for medical insurance up, or for medical stuff up. Medical bills would be a lot less expensive.
Kim, can you do me a favor? That echo is coming from you. If you could just turn the audio down a little bit, like that you're listening, like your audio that you hear. You turn it down a little bit, and that's all that's probably happening. It's reverbing back into your mic. Just a little bit, yeah.
How do I do that?
Like just your main volume, like on your, like if you're
The volume that you hear.
Yeah, the bottom right hand corner, the speaker, and then just turn the main volume down a little bit.
Okay, like that?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But
I think that the cost for medical stuff, the thing that drives medical costs is the fees that doctors have to pay in order to do business. And I don't know how you get around that, because, you know, they got to protect themselves from malpractice.
Yeah, okay, I get that. So maybe legal fees, but the insurance, you know, industry, I was trying to think of the word, is playing this game where they can force you to have insurance legally, but then on the other end, charge whatever or decide what they're going to pay, and they can artificially increase the cost of all these surgeries. We know this by looking at selective surgeries. Any selective surgery that you can just go and pay for is extremely cheap. Like, and when I say that, I don't mean like free, but like it's like they're fairly inexpensive compared to these surgeries that are I forget what the term is, that are not selective, but like
medically necessary.
Yeah, necessary. Yeah,
Like
you
having
know,
open heart surgery or something like that.
right, like that's going to be like something that you have to have an insurance company. They're going to pay most of it. You might pay the deductible, right? But on paper, it's going to be like $50,000, right? But really, the doctor could probably perform it for 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever. I don't know if you're a heart surgeon out there. I'm just making
Yeah.
a scenario here.
Well,
But
discounted.
there's middlemen. Anytime you have middlemen, a lot of us know what that's all about. Feed the middleman. Ted, yeah, no problem, brother. We're going to be closing up shop pretty soon. I'm going to roll this right now. Find out
A
who.
shortage of doctors gives them the right. They capitalize on it too from the shortage of doctors,
Yeah,
and you're on waiting list long
supply and
periods of
demand.
time.
I tell you what, the VA has gotten a lot better since they have this thing called care in the community, where
Oh,
they can
hell yeah.
send us to people that are actually professional, as in they make money from customers who come to them with medical problems, versus the VA, which those people that work at the VA, they don't answer to the patient, they answer to their, people above them. But you might have that in some civilian doctor, or medical facilities, right? There's a hierarchy, but ultimately you're the customer to the hospital. And people get pretty upset with the healthcare, but think about it. I mean,
15, 8.
when you think of healthcare, it's a commodity. Somebody had to take it upon themselves to go and learn that information, that knowledge. And to Release May's point, we are short on doctors and nurses. The price is only going to go up naturally without them even trying, without them wanting it to happen. Whether it's it's just like that's supply and demand.
You
Number
could try
15.
to treat yourself at home as much as you want, but you're all going to need a doctor. So at some point,
Yeah.
For sure.
when your kids get sick, you're going to the doctor. So
Doctor. What do you know? Okay, number 15 is none other than nobody. So this week we've got.
Well, what do you think about socialized medicine?
Well, oh wow, that's a. We only got about 5 minutes to talk, but oh yeah, I usually do the game.
Don't we already have a form of socialized medicine?
That's called the VA, and they
Yeah.
had to do what? They had to outsource to the capitalist side, or the whatever you would call the side that is about money, or with
We also
profit.
have things like Medicaid and Medicare.
Yeah, but that is a promise of money to the medical facility, in which a lot of them were decided to stop taking because the government was not paying their bills, because they think they don't have to, right? And so I actually do not fault a doctor's office or a medical or facility to not take that government check, because you know what, it bounces, and it ain't worth it anymore for a lot of companies. If they were paying in Bitcoin, I'd be like, okay, let's make that happen. Anyway, I'm not going to do a door prize tonight because we don't have candy. So I'm just gonna.
my orthodontist went to jail before because of medical fraud because his Medicaid patients weren't paying.
Yeah, man. What do you expect a doctor to do? Like, everyone thinks doctors are rich, but I know doctors who lose their houses because they live. Anyone at all. If you live at your means or live above your means, I think that's the right way to say it. You're coming down. Whether it doesn't matter what you're doing. You know.
He was at Springfield, and I had these braces on my teeth for like 6 whole months while he was in jail. It wasn't fun. I done took the rubber bands off, took the wire off myself. And when he got out, I told him, I want you to just take these off. I'm done. I'm not dealing with you no more.
Wow. That
Where'd you
would
get
be
them done? Harlem?
Springfield, Illinois.
same difference. Springfield. If you said Decatur, I would be like, oh shit.
About the same. You'll probably find one of those kind of doctors there too.
Oh, there's a lot of haters in Decatur. Anyway, Red Six, let me, if you get bored, come over. Maybe we can check this out. Red Six is an electrician, you guys. I'm gonna try to get some electrical outlets run and some upgrades to happen. At least get it lined up during my vacation.
Hey, I need
I
my
got
hot tub hooked up. A
say again.
220. I said I need my hot tub hooked up. A 220 ran through the circuit breaker.
You'll have to find out. You'll have to work a deal with on the side with Mr. Redsick. And I'm just like I'm looking for anyone. He's gonna get me set up at least what I can do on my own, and I could probably do most of it even once he
You
points me in the right
probably
direction.
do all of it, yeah, but we'll get you out of there.
But beside the point, I'm just kind of talking about some of the stuff I plan to do on my vacation. I got a self-closing door hinge for my door because my husky likes to go. I like to let her outside. She likes to go outside freaking a million times a day. But once I let her out, then she knows how to pop the door open and come back in. And that's cool, but she doesn't know how to shut the damn thing. And so I was thinking of different things. People were like, put a bell on it, this and that. Well, if I'm down here, I can't. I probably am not gonna. I might be able to hear it, but that wasn't going to be good enough for me. So I went to the hardware store and I found these hinges that are self-closing hinges. Like this is the bomb. I'm going to check this out. And I only got one. I can put it in the middle. It's 3 hinges. I'm going to see how it works. I got a whole project to do there, but that's going to be really cool. If I can just open it, all right, go out, and I can just walk away.
Otherwise, you have to get a doggy door.
Yeah.
Like an extra large one, too.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have critters.
I'll just line it with like cinnamon or whatever.
No, I don't mean those kind of critters. You get a skunk or something come in your back door.
Oh, I'll just pee right on the outside of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. I got a raccoon and a possum that comes up to my door all the time.
Do you live in
They'd
Florida?
be chilling in my living room. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be scared of gators coming in your door. I had a friend that lived in Louisiana that had that happen. They had a gator come in through the doggy door
Yeah.
in their house.
I've only ever seen one gator in person, like out in the wild here. I've been here for about 8 years. And
Yeah.
So I was in the
down south, and our friend posted pictures of gators from down south a lot more. He was even canoeing, and there was one underneath there.
Wow. There was a alligator turtle that I posted a video about. It looks like an alligator mostly, but it just reminds me of critters. There was a Marine drill sergeant, I guess, office in this strip of drill sergeant offices in my advanced individual training. They call it AIT, and I was in this like sort of basically college but with drill sergeants. So you're learning your job, and anyway, this one day we're all out in the main area. I forget what we were doing outside. We look down and like all these Marines just come flying out of this office, just abandoned ship kind of thing. And they come to find out a skunk had made its way into the office. And they were like, running from the skunk, like just in just dire need to get out. Anyway, with that being said, guys, Merry Christmas to everybody. Whether you have plans for the holiday, or you just get a day off, or you just maybe think a little bit about your, the past good times and whatever you got to do. But holidays should be a positive thing. Hopefully, you all get through it. And if not, come to my party on the New Year's Eve. It's going to be a good time. There's like 20 people that said I'm down, but a lot of people thought it was a live stream I'm talking about. I might go live during the party. I don't know. Maybe just because if, depending on who shows up, I'll be like going live. I'm like, help me. See who shows up. It's going to be fun. Skunk works. Kelly's coming. Kelly's a local, and few others. I think G-Rod and Sandy. What's the main dish? Okay, no, we need to talk about that, actually, Kelly. Everyone needs to bring something. It's like a pot. We'll call it a potluck. I'll bring personality.
You better do better than that.
I got water in the tap.
I'm pretty sure I work this New Year.
I got tap water. I got
Yeah.
ice. My freezer makes ice. I'll go get some.
Last New Year's, I had COVID. I was in the ER with COVID.
Head over, Jess. You make it. You'll get here by then, and you can do a whole social media journey as you're from your walk from Baltimore to Illinois.
Me and Joe went to one joint, one lot. That was the biggest joint we did ever see.
Yeah.
Ross was there. Some other people were there. Becca was there. Some other people from the community.
Yeah. Sounds like it was a good time. At least for some.
Yeah, we'll never get out. So anytime we get out of the house, it's a good time.
Touche. Well, if you're not working on New Year's Eve, man, I'm still hearing a lot of echoiness. That's okay. We're getting out of here. You guys have a good night. Have a good weekend. And Bean, I think we're gonna figure it out, man. I'm gonna do something, even just be able to pop on for like little 30-minute sessions to run a, to be able to quickly. So the difference is jumping on StreamYard takes all the work to set it all up, and going live through the helmet is just like you can do it right there while you're inside. Yeah.
Live really through the helmet. What does that mean?
Yeah. So the VR. We'll play VR. Different.
Oh, a VR headset.
And I'm gonna start trying out different games. There's like a whole bunch of random free games, and I'm gonna just kind of pull up different stuff. We're like, let's check it out. And so we're gonna have a gaming channel. And if anybody out there wants to get in on it, let us know. But it's really just for fun, and it's not gonna be. There won't be a camera. Like I'm not trying to have sessions on it or anything like that. We're just gonna be a gaming channel and have some fun. So. Anybody want to promote anything? You got something you want to promote that thing, Red Six, or is that something?
What's that?
Upcoming event?
Oh, at Grow Up for
yeah.
That'll be in April next year. But they're gonna have a little. Well, it won't be little. It'll be a big party down there. So there'll be a lot of vendors, food trucks.
I think I'm gonna throw an event there too. Indoor farmer event.
I think we should.
We can do some comedy, maybe get
We should head up the summertime farmers market craft show stuff.
I should do what with it?
Head up some summertime farmers
market.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, I want to get the mess over here to do some comedy, and then maybe get some musicians that have been on the show, come and do some musicianing, and it could be a fun thing. Get a bunch of vendors, get bushes in there, get some vendors, maybe get Bean to travel over. Would be fun. It's a pretty nice little. I would say you could do a good 30 booths, and it's really.
Well, they actually own the grass lot across the street too. So.
Well, that's a parking lot.
There's a grass area.
Oh, different spot. Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting. You could have I don't know. That's kind of exposed a little bit. I don't know what you would put there. Tent. Put a big tent there.
Yeah. They've had a bunch of tents set up out there for events.
Good night, Elisa.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Elisa May. Merry Christmas. Because it's been a
it doesn't even feel like
December, and there's reason to
you need to get growing something, Waylon. They're gonna have a little grow review too.
I got the 2 clones you sent me. They're doing good.
So, and it's $25. We're gonna have a veterans division and a cultivator division
this week, man. That's another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang lights. Maybe you could help me with that. I'm gonna need some help on that. It's lights that are like mine but longer. So there's 10 bars. It's a 10-bar light. Oh man, it's like 2 feet or 4 feet wide, but not 4 feet. Yeah,
Is it going over your table?
It's gonna go in the flower room for cannabis. Table. The table needs more light. I need to find another light to put over it, but that's okay. It is what it is. But we'll get out of here, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Go check it out. Go on this holiday break. Go check out Rumble or X. You know, give yourself like a secondary backup place to go. 'Cause, man, I swear, people are just getting dumped out of the stream on Facebook. Crazy. Not able to find it. All these little stupid things. But yeah, go check out Bean on Fire in the Hole, and check out the waffles. Check out Legit Bean Review Remastered and Boots to Bushes if you're a veteran.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later. Remember, everybody on the planet.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, this is for my green thumbs in the game. Wailing the indoor farmer. Check my name. Sustainability, we about to reclaim. This is how we do it, keep it in the frame. I'm wailing the farmer, the indoor king. Living off the grid, what the city can't bring. Got my hydro set up, my LED lights. Growing all my greens, all through the night. Self-sustain, that's the mission. Growing my own, I'm not missing. Indoor farming,